If you are an immigrant in Florida, you need to hear this. Governor Ron DeSantis just signed a new immigration bill that's changed everything. From stricter penalties for criminal offenses to fewer legal protections, this law could impact you, your family, or somebody you know. I'm attorney Adam Rossen from the Rossen Law Firm, and in this video, I'm going to break it down to you. We'll talk in simple terms. What's the law? What do you need to do? What's going on? How do you protect yourself? Okay, it's early 2025, and this new immigration bill has changed everything in Florida. So, here I am to break it down for you. So Florida's passed this brand new immigration bill that's one of the toughest in the country. The bill introduces new state-level immigration crimes, mandatory jail sentences. It even removes key legal protections like posting bail and, for all intents and purposes, plea deals because of these mandatory minimums. And so here's the problem. The immigration law is supposed to be handled by the federal government, not individual states. And so what does this law actually do? So first of all, it criminalizes unauthorized entry into the state of Florida. So if you enter Florida illegally, then it is now a misdemeanor crime in the state of Florida with a minimum sentence of 9 months, a maximum of a year. The feds used to handle this themselves. There is a federal crime for illegal re-entry into the United States, but Florida they've gotten their grasp around this themselves with, criminal cases and state court jail time. Now, what happens if this happens a second time? So if it's a second time, now you're looking at what's called a third-degree felony. Max punishment by up to 5 years in jail, but there's a mandatory minimum of 1 year. So extremely harsh penalties. And if you re-enter the country after you've been deported and have a prior felony, we're talking minimum 5 years in prison, even if there's no other crime. So these laws, absolute game changer. It's so much harsher than anything we've ever had. The governor and the Florida legislature, they're really pushing back on immigrants. And we're not just talking illegal immigrants, but immigrants of all of all shapes and sizes, basically, of all statuses. So number two, there's not going to be any bail if you're an unauthorized immigrant. They are presuming that you are a flight risk, that you're not going to return. So what does that mean? They're keeping you in jail. Whether you have strong ties to the community, no criminal history, minor offense, does not matter. Prosecutors have been informed that they must be asking the judges to basically hold people on pretrial detention. The judges have already had memos circulating among themselves that they are to inquire about immigration status and they are to continue to hold people and not give bond or bail, same thing really, to anybody who's an undocumented immigrant. So what this is doing is it's forcing people to remain in jail. It's going to crowd jails. The state of Florida they're going to be having a grasp on people to either quickly whisk them out to Chrome or the other immigration detention facilities, or they're just going to force them into sitting in jail and being punished, while defense attorneys like us are going to be a little bit hampered on how we can defend these cases. The best thing for us is to have our clients out. It's easier for us to talk to them, easier for us to just represent them in general. Now, look, we have clients in jail all the time, but those are for the most serious type of cases. We're going to be talking about crowding jails with a lot of misdemeanor clients, a lot of DUIs, a lot of just minor non-violent offenses. And it's going to throw the entire criminal justice system in a loop. So this is a major change. It's going to be a big problem for the entire criminal justice system. Most importantly, if you're undocumented, if you or your family members are undocumented. And really, that's what we care about, because I don't believe that immigrants should be treated any differently. Number three, undocumented immigrants are not going to be eligible for pretrial diversion programs. So in the state of Florida, and especially in South Florida, there's a lot of different specialized courts and programs that do just so much good for people. It really helps. We're talking about drug court, mental health court, pretrial intervention, pretrial diversion, misdemeanor diversion program. There's so many different things. And we're talking about little things like could be driver's license issues, drug possession, minor theft. We're talking about some low-level felonies. There's a lot of these things, and people get the help that they deserve, and they're diverted away and out from the criminal justice system. And now, based on this new immigration law, they're not going to be eligible for these programs. So again, we're punishing people because of their immigration status and treating them differently. I think it's completely unconstitutional. I think it's against the equal protection and the due process clauses of the U.S. Constitution. And there's going to be tremendous fights over that. But number 4 is especially concerning. So number 4 is, it is a mandatory, okay, let me say that again, mandatory death penalty for capital offenses. So what does that mean? Well, in the state of Florida, first of all, the prosecutors can choose to seek the death penalty or not for capital offenses. And then the jury has to go ahead and vote to sentence somebody to death. The way this statute is written, it's mandatory death if you're convicted. So what they're doing is they're treating, people, of course, differently based on where they're from. The facts don't matter anymore if you're charged, and if you are convicted of a capital offense, death. Now, there's going to be major court battles over this, okay? And it's going to take a lot of time for this to be figured out. I don't think it's going to be a year or two. I think we're going to talk 3, 4, 5 years on this. But knowing that the Florida Supreme Court is against criminal defense attorneys and against immigrants, and knowing that the U.S. Supreme Court skews that way as well, it's going to be difficult. It's scary out there. So what does this mean for you? Right. Well, okay, you got to be careful. Obviously, look, don't commit a capital offense, okay? But that's the easy thing to say here, right? Okay? What it really means if you're in this situation is you need the absolute best lawyers you can find. You need criminal defense experts, people that are going to be going to battle for you. You need a team, not just one lawyer, right? You need an actual team. Here at the Rossen Law Firm, we have 6 expert criminal defense attorneys. It's a totally different firm. It's a totally different game that we play. And I personally think everybody needs a firm like ours. But if you're an immigrant in this country, if you're a non-citizen, the game has changed. You need the absolute best of the best. It's literally your life at stake. It's your family, your freedom, your future. It's so much more than just having one criminal case, one situation. So just to recap, Florida's new immigration law, it's one of the absolute strictest, toughest in the entire country. You need to know your rights. You need to know your rights. You need to protect yourself. You need to stay in touch with local organizations. There's some great, amazing organizations out there that are really doing a ton of work to help immigrants. And you need the best criminal defense attorneys that you can find, okay? And you have to protect yourself. If you found this video helpful, feel free, like, subscribe, share it. We want to give good content to you folks. Okay, we're going to be at the forefront of these legal battles over the next few years, forever, right? That's what we do here at Rossen Law Firm. If you or anybody is in any type of legal trouble, whether you're a citizen or non-citizen, especially if you're a non-citizen, reach out, give us a call. This is what we do every single day here at Rossen Law Firm. You can call us anytime, 754-206-6200.